I have the privilege this morning of talking about creating a regular missions presentation in our churches. Can everybody see my screen okay? It's working? Good, good. So we're just going to look at four different things and four different ways to do this. Firstly, speak with your pastor. Secondly, subscribe to NMI Central. Thirdly, make use of the Seaview resources, which we'll talk about, and then also mission offerings and mission Sundays and the opportunity that these represent to make missions front and central in our churches. So firstly, for those who don't know, I am a pastor, and I don't pretend to speak on behalf of all the other pastors, but in my experience, and I know chatting with my colleagues as well, pastors, we like to think that we're approachable, and actually we love to hear from you. You're not a burden to us. In fact, you're in most cases certainly a delight to us, and we love when people come and approach us about saying, Pastor, I have a real heart for this, and I think that it would be really good to maybe include this in some of our services or even in our midweek meetings. The reality is very, very often pastors are so busy trying to do this, that, and the other that sadly, as is life, some things can fall by the wayside. And it's maybe you don't have a regular mission slot in your church services at the moment. I want to say that that's not because your pastor doesn't understand the importance of mission or isn't interested in mission. It's just sadly that missions may have fallen by the wayside. So very often, the thought of someone else coming and offering and drawing alongside to assist in this area will fill your pastor with joy as well, because we want our congregations to be enthused about what is going on throughout the world, through the Church of the Nazarene, and indeed missions throughout the world. And it may be that you suggest a regular slot. That could be a monthly slot as part of the service. It could be alternate months as part of your service to keep the work of NMI ever before the congregation. And that could look like a 5 to 7 minute slot in the service to begin with. And we want to make sure as well that missions is not just for older generations. There's no such thing as a junior Holy Spirit. So we want to make sure that if possible, and you have children coming along to your services, that we do these mission slots whenever children are present as well. As a young guy, a young boy, my heart was captured as missions was promoted by missionaries like Kay and Ernie Eads in the Carrickfergus Church, and as they shared their experience. So don't miss the children out in all of that. And Kathy's also shared that Kids Kaleidoscope provides great opportunity even for them to go into a little bit more depth with all of that. So firstly, speak with your pastor, because we want to keep NMI before the congregation. Secondly, you've heard us talk a lot today about NMI Central. And if you have a smartphone, you can go onto your camera app and there's a wee QR code in the bottom right-hand corner there. You can scan that and follow the link that will come up, and it'll take you to the sign up for NMI Central. I'm also going to, after I finish this, I'm going to pop the URL link that you can follow into the chat, and then you can follow that and sign up for NMI Central as well. But NMI Central, it's sent out each Wednesday at 12:30 UK time, and it covers a different country every week. It gives a little bit of background about that country. This week it was Bulgaria. It gives some statistics, some Nazarene statistics, how many churches we have, how many members there are, how many maybe church plants or different expressions of church that there are, as well as how many ordained elders and licensed ministers there are as well. It then gives some points for praise, what's going well and what do we want to give thanks with our brothers and sisters in these countries for, but then also gives some specific prayer points for those countries as well. And then each week too, it contains a story about the work of one of the Nazarene ministries in that country as well, which is always a very good way to share with your congregations a practical example. If you're anything like me, you can resonate with stories, and each individual can resonate with stories because we ourselves have a story. So the NMI Central provides this for us once a month. It also gives us some an update with the Kids Kaleidoscope, which Kathy has just talked about. And this past year, it has given an Alabaster focus, because this has been the 75th anniversary of Alabaster, and a new video comes along with that every month as well. And truth be told, when these come through, you can get them on your phone, you can get them on your emails, on your laptops or computers, and it may just be that actually you just want to screen grab some of these things and put them into a presentation, and that makes your mission slot ready for you to sort of go with as well. And it's something that we do in McGean. We would do it once every 6 weeks as part of our main service, just an NMI Central focus. We do other missions events throughout the year and on a regular basis too, but actually we still meet on a Wednesday evening for our midweek, and during our midweek, 2 out of the 4 weeks in the month, we will jump on a plane. Tonight we're going to go to and we'll go around the different parts of the world that are mentioned in NMI Central that week. And we will rejoice with them, and we will pray with them as well. So NMI Central is a very easy way to create a regular missions presentation for your churches. Another way is to use the C-View resources that are sent out. So at least once a month, the British Isles North District NMI sends out a mailing blast to the NMI District mailing list. And this contains resources. We try and make sure that it doesn't just contain information, but rather that it contains resources as well from throughout the Nazarene world. It's not just an information dump, but this is the District NMI attempting to equip the local church to do and promote the work of NMI in their services and also on their social media platforms as well. So over the next year, there's a few things we plan to do. With this C-View, we plan to professionalize our graphics and make that something that everybody right across the generations would be willing to share on their social media pages, on our church pages, and also in our church services. We are going to endeavor to include video interviews with missionaries from throughout the world, and we're going to take the time and record those and send those out. We're going to make sure that they're not specific to a particular congregation, but actually that those could be used right throughout our district as we get to know a little bit about the missionaries that are serving in the Church of the Nazarene throughout the world. I know that that's something that Carrick and Skegneel have done recently. They've just recorded a video with the Gibbons in regional office, and Lauren on our team has already said that so you can make that available to share with each and every one of us. Another thing is that we are going to dub NMI videos with regional voices. A lot of the videos that come out from the Central Church are American, and there's nothing wrong with that, but we are not American in this part of the world, and sometimes hearing these videos in our own local dialects and own regional accents can be another way to entice and engage our local churches. We want to make it easier than ever to have the necessary resources at our fingertips as well. So we almost, we want to be sending information and resources that don't require a lot of work to put together. And then another thing is we're going to make sure this time that we send resources and the C-View blast at the same time every month, and so that you know when it's coming, and then you can plan accordingly. And then lastly, because we want to honor time, and it is 12 o'clock, so I am just going to, you'll see on the page here, make use of the different NMI offerings which happen throughout the years. This is a really good opportunity to put NMI front and central into the local church. And I know that different churches lift those offerings in different ways. Some of our churches lift them traditionally, like the Easter offering, the Thanksgiving offering, the prayer and fasting offering, and the World Evangelism Fund offering at designated times throughout the year, as well as our Alabaster offerings. Some churches just lift missions offerings and make that generic, and then choose to allocate those later to the various different funds within the district, NMI, and some lift them as a mixture. So in McGeehan, for example, we lift 4 missionary offerings throughout the year, and we're not specific about which offering that is for. We then, as a church board and as NMI, Graham as our NMI president, under his recommendation, we then decide how to divvy that up. But then we do, one of the things we do lift specifically is Alabaster every September as well. These missions offerings provide a great and natural opportunity to promote the work of NMI in the local church, either on the day that the offering's lifted or even in the weeks leading up to the offering being collected as well. And one thing here as well, another way, if we have more time, I'd go into more detail about this, but what about making an annual missions Sunday in the local church, or even a biannual where it happens twice a year, missionary focused service throughout the year, where you maybe invite a missionary to come along, or you share the interviews that have been shared with you, where you use the Kids Kaleidoscope to engage our children. And I would say as well, with the Kids Kaleidoscope, it's not just for children as well, it's very engaging right across the generations. Or invite those whom you know have been on mission along to share about their experience as well.